In Anne Arundel County, police have released the names of the victims in last week's double homicide in Brooklyn Park. Wednesday afternoon, officers were called to Patrick Henry Drive for a car crash. That's when officers located a car on fire after it crashed through a fence and came to a stop at a garage. Officers were able to quickly put the flames out. They then found 34-year-old Daryl Blow and 44-year-old Kessa Baker deceased inside the car. Autopsies later determined they died from multiple gunshot wounds. Anyone with information on this incident is urged to call Anne Arundel County Police. Have you seen this woman? Melissa Day is wanted in connection to a sheriff's deputy being dragged by a car in Anne Arundel County. Yesterday, a deputy was driving the area of Magathy Bridge Road in Pasadena when he spotted Day in the passenger seat of a stopped car. Day was wanted on multiple warrants. Now, as the deputy was trying to arrest her, the driver began to accelerate, dragging the deputy a considerable distance. The deputy was taken to shock trauma for treatment to injuries to his head and body. Both suspects remain at large. If you know the whereabouts of Melissa Day, call the Anne Arundel County Sheriff's Office. Well, this was the view from the windshield of a Loch Raven Middle School bus on Thursday. A man, you can see him riding on the front as the bus moves, pounding his fist on the hood. Police say that man is Laverne Duran. He was arrested after he attempted to stop the bus on Putty Hill Avenue and Horner Avenue. A bottle was allegedly thrown from the school bus and hit his car. Witnesses say he then banged on the doors to get inside the bus, but the driver wouldn't open the door, and after not being let in, Duran jumped on the front of the bus as the bus began to move away. This incident continues to be under investigation. It's been 5 months since Baltimore woman Akia Eggleston went missing. Even so, her family and friends are not giving up their search. The now 23-year-old disappeared back in May while she was 8 months pregnant. She missed her own baby shower and some important doctor appointments, considered unusual since she had a high-risk pregnancy. She also left behind her 3-year-old daughter. Yesterday, a prayer vigil was held for Eggleston on the corner of Cherry Crest Road, the last known place she was seen. Her family is pleading for help to find her.
We're just looking for somebody to step forward with some information for the police to close this for this family, and we need the community's help, the church's help, the police's help, the FBI's help. We need that one individual to step forward and give us some closure.
Eggleston was due in June, so she should have had the baby by now. Anyone with information is urged to call police. Police now may have new clues on that senseless night of violence in Las Vegas, offering possible insight into a killer's state of mind. Now, they come from a note found in Stephen Paddock's hotel room, as well as from a man who claims he spoke to Paddock just months before the massacre. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest.
This morning, disturbing new details about Las Vegas mass killer Stephen Paddock. Still no motive for opening fire on that music festival 1 week ago. But sources revealed to ABC News investigators increasingly believe Paddock has severe mental illness, likely undiagnosed. They describe Paddock as standoffish, disconnected, and antisocial, traits of past mass shooters. And that note found on Paddock's hotel nightstand in Mandalay Bay, CBS 60 Minutes is reporting it contained written calculations about where he needed to aim to maximize accuracy and kill as many as possible. Investigators are hoping to learn more from people like Scott Armstrong, the Reno car dealer, emotional after he says he came face-to-face with Paddock on his lot 2 months ago.
You know, no smiles, not very friendly at all. He said he was terribly depressed and that his life was miserable. I just was thinking to myself, this guy I got to get away from because he was so down or negative, and I couldn't help him.
On Sunday night, Las Vegas came face to face with pure evil.
Vice President Pence visited the memorial honoring the 58 people killed. Saturday night, Jason Aldean, the country star on stage during the horrific attack, spoke out on SNL.
We're going to walk through these tough times together.
Cody Coffer and his big sister Marky were at that music festival. Marky, 41 weeks pregnant.
I was just worried that even if I got shot, what about the baby?
Cody covered his sister and got her to safety, never revealing that he had been shot in the shoulder.
I didn't want anybody else to worry about it, so I just kind of sucked it up and wanted everybody else to get home.
Cody was released from the hospital Saturday. Marky gave birth to baby Wyatt, 9 pounds, 11 ounces. Yes, 911, just 2 days after so many lost their lives.
Incredible. Well, after leaving a deadly trail of destruction in Central America, Hurricane Nate is settling down. The storm made landfall yesterday, not once but twice, first in southeastern Louisiana, then again on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Now that Nate is a tropical depression, residents and officials from states all along the Gulf Coast are starting to clean up and get back to business as usual. Some areas were hit overnight by then Hurricane Nate's more than 80-mile-per-hour winds and a storm surge that flooded roads and some buildings in cities like Mississippi and Mobile, Alabama. Nate is the first hurricane to make landfall in Mississippi since Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005 and the third to hit the U.S. mainland in the last 6 weeks. Fortunately, we haven't seen any of that weather here, just, some rain, a little dreary today. Sunshine disappeared. So let's check in with meteorologist Adrian Green. When can we expect this to clear up at all? Are you thinking umbrellas tomorrow?
Umbrellas definitely going to be needed as we head throughout the course of the day tomorrow. Nate's moisture actually moves into our area overnight tonight and in through much of the day tomorrow. So we are going to be talking a steady, heavier rain as we kick off the day tomorrow, and then things tapering down as we get towards the afternoon and evening tomorrow. But here's what it looks like right now. You can see the bulk of the moisture right now across sections of the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys. Just now, we're just talking cloudy conditions, a few sprinkles here and there, but largely dry conditions here in the Baltimore area for the time being. Temperatures really quite warm here today. Many spots climbed into the low 80s. Temps right now sitting in the mid to upper 70s, but with high dew point values, it still feels very, very muggy and very humid throughout the overnight tonight. And then in through the day tomorrow, we keep that tropical air mass in place as Nate's moisture gets pulled into the region. So overnight tonight, really not taking much of a break. We'll be just dipping down into the low 70s and upper 60s with more rain showers throughout the overnight and heavier rain, as mentioned, expected for tomorrow morning's commute. Mallory?
Thank you, Adrian. Coming up on ABC 2 News, some brilliant minds came together this weekend to help take a bite out of cybersecurity. And you've tried to protect yourself following that massive Equifax breach. Unfortunately, you may not have done enough. We're going to show you what you need to do to avoid becoming a victim. We'll be right back. On and off the lacrosse field, Towson University student Stephen Stillwell puts his heart into what he does. Outside of his school responsibilities, he makes giving back in his mother's memory a main priority. She died of breast cancer when he was just a child. ABC 2 News' Nadia Singh tells us how he keeps her memory alive.
Everyone's been affected by breast cancer in some way or form. Everyone knows someone or has been affected personally.
Even with grueling practices, games, and classes, Stephen Stillwell has and continues to raise thousands for Komen, Maryland.
I was in the top 5 of fundraising, and I was the top on the team, and it was just great to see everyone support me and help me raise that money.
It's this Towson University senior's way of honoring his late mother.
My mom passed away from breast cancer. She had it early in her life and gone into remission, and then it came back, and it unfortunately ended her life.
Her legacy now carried on by her son and his teammates. The team also takes an active role in breast cancer awareness and fundraising year-round.
Anything we can do as a team and as individuals to bring this positive attention to something that does have a big effect on people, we'll do our part.
I get a little Z work in too, huh?
Ryan Hemming is the director of operations for the team. He has his own story about the disease that strikes 1 in 8 women.
My mom, when she received her original diagnosis, was given 18 months, and she battled for 7 years before she before it kind of ended for her.
3, 2, 1. And it's not just when the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure douses the area in pink that the team reaches out to those touched by breast cancer. It's throughout the entire season.
I'm supportive of the community, though, and I'd like to help any way I can.
There's also a yearly pink game and another connection to the most common cancer among women after skin cancer.
Bobby Madison was an old academic advisor for the team. She unfortunately passed away from breast cancer as well. So in order to honor her and my mom and anyone else affected by breast cancer, we put the breast cancer awareness sticker on the back of our helmets.
Further showing that these guys are no strangers to the toll the disease takes. The team's leaders couldn't be more proud of their players' leadership.
Perfect. Every day these guys make me proud, but we want to make sure we understand that we're a part of something bigger. We're obviously a very strong program. We believe in each other. We work hard, but we can also have a greater impact than just on the lacrosse field.
It affects everybody, and I think having our guys get behind a movement to help find a cure for breast cancer gets them involved with something bigger than themselves.
For Stephen, it's just how he can still feel close to the woman he calls mom.
Yeah, it definitely makes me feel better, and hopefully I'm making my mom proud, and I just want to do what I can to help anyone else that will be affected by it in the future.
In Towson, Nadia Singh, ABC 2 News.
This year, the Komen Race for a Cure returns to Baltimore. The race is Sunday, October 15th at McHenry Row. Organizers expect around 8,000 people at the event and hope to raise $850,000. ABC2 is a proud sponsor. This weekend, a cyber summit was held in Baltimore to help take a bite out of cyber crimes. The cybersecurity conference was yesterday at the Mount Pleasant Grand Fellowship Hall. The topics covered were cyber careers, identity theft, ransomware, sexting, internet best practices, mobile security, social media and apps, parental controls, online gaming, and much more, with the goal of having a healthier cyber community and giving parents the tools to help protect their kids.
Everything we do nowadays touches the cyberspace in some way or some form. Our young people are the future potentially for the workforce, the cyber workforce. And without that awareness within our community, these folks won't know potentially how important this area is.
The free event invited students in grades 7 through 12 and adults to attend. Have you done anything to protect your identity since the big Equifax data breach? Well, even if you did, there's a good chance it wasn't enough. ABC2's John Mattery shows us 3 things you should do now so you don't waste your money.
With the recent Equifax breach, we're all concerned about who might get access to our Social Security number. Now, you can't stop a breach once it's happened, but there are 3 things you can do to prevent a hacker from doing anything with your info. The Equifax breach has millions of people trying to monitor and lock up their credit files, like Kathy Payne, who I spoke with a couple of weeks ago.
If you have a credit card or a loan, you're affected.
So here's what Kathy and you can do. 1, sign up for credit monitoring. Equifax is offering free monitoring right now, if you can get onto their website. Otherwise, consider the free monitoring offered by Credit Karma. 2, freeze your credit by looking for the Credit Freeze web pages at Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. It should cost you no more than $10 at each agency. And 3, set up an online Social Security account at ssa.gov. That way you prevent unauthorized access to your Social Security benefits by anyone else. And from the Doesn't That Stink file, what can happen if you don't take any action? Since there's a chance your name, birth date, and Social Security number was stolen in the Equifax breach, a thief can apply for credit cards in your name if you don't have a freeze. Doesn't that stink? And if you've never set up a Social Security account online, they can set one up for you and start taking your hard-earned benefits. Bottom line, read the fine print and ask tough questions when buying extended warranty and get all the dates in writing so you don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery, ABC 2 News.
Apple announced that it will introduce hundreds of new emojis in next week's iOS update. The new batch will include more expressive smiley faces, mythical creatures, and gender-neutral options. The company previewed more than 24 emojis, including a hedgehog, a giraffe, and an angry emoji face with explicit characters blocking the mouth. The tech giant has been stepping up efforts to include more diverse options recently, as have other companies.
And now from ABC2, Maryland's most accurate forecast.
Well, it felt more like August out there than October today. Temperatures climbed into the mid-80s, officially 84 today at BWI Airport. Notice that the normal now sits at 69, so 15 degrees above where we should be for this time of year here today. Temperatures still in the low 80s along sections of Anne Arundel County from Millersville down towards Edgewater. You can see that we're in the upper 70s in Edgewood and Timonium, currently sitting also in the upper 70s in Fredericktown and in Centerville. Along with that, we have that tropical feel to the atmosphere here today. Humidity levels sky high, feeling very muggy with the dew point values sitting many locations in the mid 70s. So very humid out there across the area today. Still have the clouds out there for us in through the overnight tonight. A few sprinkles here and there across the immediate central Maryland area. But when we widen the scope, you can see that there is more activity off to our west. And this is actually coming compliments of Nate, what was once a hurricane, now a tropical depression spinning out across sections of Tennessee, bringing in some steady heavy rain there, and also severe weather threat across sections of this area as well. We won't get in on all of that, but we will see some of the heavy rain arrive as we head throughout the course of the day tomorrow, especially in the morning hours. That's when we have the best chance for some steady heavy rain across our area. So futurecast pretty quiet throughout the rest of this evening. We just have some on and off scattered showers here across the region. Throughout the morning hours tomorrow, that's when we start to see that heavy steady rain arrive. You see where the oranges and the yellows are? That's indicating that heavier rain, which will be moving into our area pretty close to that Monday morning commute. Now, there is some good news that since tomorrow is Columbus Day, hopefully that Monday morning commute won't be quite as hectic, but nonetheless, with the rain arriving, it definitely could be a tough one. Into the afternoon, we start to see things dry out a little bit. Still can't rule out a few lingering showers. The clouds are still certainly going to be with us, but the heaviest rain going to be moving on out. But then a cold front arrives on Tuesday, so that'll bring in additional chances for rain showers